for those of us who were hacking in those very early days, he was, well, I'll flat out say it, the greatest hacker that anybody knew of, really. I mean, I guess everybody had their own opinions back then, but I certainly thought he was the greatest hacker. I remember, in particular, for me, what was impressive is that the rumor, the sort of myth was circulating in the hacker underground that Julian had hacked into satellites in space and had made them move around. And as a young hacker myself, just plugging in a little 9 kilobaud per second modem, and the idea that I could get on my, my little computer at the time, which was probably about as powerful as your wristwatch is now, and make satellites move in space, that really inspired me. I mean, that really and I think it inspired a lot of people to continue hacking. And so for me, I see. Yes, I get that Julian's a journalist. I get that he's a publisher. But on a personal level, if you're asking my personal view of him as a person, I always see him, and even today, in times when he was still connected and we were interacting for business of WikiLeaks, I still see him as just a fellow hacker. And I think I'd like to think he sort of felt the same way about me, because there's a certain level of honesty that you can have in a relationship between hackers that necessarily maybe you can't have in other different kinds of relationships. So I felt like our relationship in the current times, contemporary times, was very honest, very open. We felt we could speak freely with each other, and I think that's because, like I said, I'm not denying he's all those other things, but to me, I think I will always see him as that first, as a hacker. And people need to understand what I mean by that, because for me, hacking is a very inclusive concept. It's not an exclusive concept. To me, hacking is about taking systems that you see are not functioning the way you think they should function, and making them function the way you want them to function, even if you have to break them to do it. And so that's sort of the primal principle to me of hacking. And so in a way, what Julian is doing, in my mind, in my eyes, is hacking society. He's hacking governments. He's hacking history by deconstructing it with this concept of disclosure, this concept of transparency. And it's had this huge effect that you spent so much time talking about. To me, I see that as the effect of one of the greatest hacks in history. I see WikiLeaks itself as one of the greatest hacks in history.